Alright, so I earlier did a video on the shooter in Santa Monica, and since then I said in that video that we're going to find out more information about him. And what has come out about him is he was totally crazy like we originally suspected. But the interesting thing is they knew he was totally crazy and they decided that they weren't going to do anything about it and just let this happen. What do I mean by that? Alright, first off, let's tell you why they knew he was crazy. When he was 17 years old, he threatened people at school that he knew how to make bombs and was going to blow them up. Okay? So they knew he was crazy and threatened to blow them up. So what did they do? They went to his house with the cops. They found that he had collected a whole bunch of bomb making materials and that he had watched multiple YouTube channels on how to build them, taken notes, and printed out information on how to build the bombs. So because he opened his big mouth, they basically caught him in the process of making bombs. Okay? So if I did this, I would go to federal prison for probably 10 years. What did they do in California? They took him down to the psych ward and they talked to him and kept him under observation, and then they let him out on 5 years of probation to where he couldn't buy a firearm. So they basically let a crazy bomb-making maniac back out on the street and put him under 5 years of probation. And of course, this is 7 years later, he turns out and goes and does a shooting rampage. And because he was on probation and tried to actually buy a firearm before the 5 years was out, he actually got turned down when he tried to purchase a firearm. This was when he was 21 or 22. It was before the 5 years ran out. He tried to buy a firearm and he was denied. Well, here's where the system failed a second time in California. They didn't go and red flag him and go and take him into custody at that point. So you have a crazy bomb maker who during his 5 years of probation tried to go and buy a firearm and nobody did anything about it. I mean, the one thing he learned from being taken into custody the first time was you don't tell people about your plans then. So in my opinion, the state of California and their policies are totally to blame for this maniac committing these acts. They had evidence he was crazy, they caught him in the act, and they let him out to do it again 7 years later. They had another opportunity to bust him before his 5 years of probation was up trying to buy a firearm, and they didn't do it. And then, because he had gotten turned down, what did he do? He did what all criminals do. He found another way to skirt the law and get possession of firearms. He figured out that he could order all the parts to build AR-15s, and then he got an unfinished lower part, which he had to use machinery to finish himself. All perfectly legal in the state of California. In fact, the company that makes the lowers that are 80% lowers is in California. You can actually buy one, go to their plant, stick it on their CNC electric cutter machine, push the button yourself, and that in essence skirts the law to have it made. So if he hadn't had that ability to make this lower himself, then he would have gone to the next level and he would have gone out and he would have simply bought one illegally from a private guy in the back trunk who stole one. Okay, so no matter what we do, he was going to get a gun and do this rampage. But the state of California had the opportunity with multiple warning signs, with multiple intents, to stop him, to take him into custody, and to keep him in custody until he was truly deemed safe, which obviously he wasn't. So again, California with their liberal gun control acts thought they were safe, but again weren't, because they didn't do what reasonable people would do. And that's take a nut job who make bombs into custody and not let him out for a while. Like 5 to 10 years. They should have locked him up for a lot longer until they were absolutely sure he was squared away. But again, they kept him for a short time. He learned his lesson. Don't tell people, don't threaten them before you commit your horrible acts. And he was, left to continue to go crazy until he acted again. So again, I wholly and totally blame California, their rules, their politics, their liberal, oh, he's crazy, you have to give him a second chance. That is just a load of crap. And they let him out thinking that, oh, well, we're safe. We don't let crazy people buy guns. We hardly let anyone buy guns. And again, they were fooled into, and he was a bomb maker anyway, so I'm just, thank God he didn't make a bomb. He only killed 5 people. Imagine what he could do with a good bomb placement or two. But again, California totally dropped the ball. Again, massive fail on California. They need to start rebuilding their laws in a reasonable way. None of these anti-gun laws are going to stop any of the criminals. They really need to start going after the criminals and putting them behind bars and in jail and not letting them out all the time. That's the only way to be safe. When somebody does something wrong, commits a massive crime with intent to kill others, you lock them up. Period.
Meep, meep.